Thank you. I rise today to speak about a disease that affects over 3,000 Australian men, women and children, cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is a life-threatening disease for which there is no cure, and it is the most common life-threatening disorder among Caucasians across the world. Over 1 million Australians carry the gene that causes cystic fibrosis. When a person is diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, they experience a life of frequent hospital stays and ongoing physiotherapy. The average lifespan of patients is just 37 years. This is a disease that affects young people. Cystic fibrosis causes your glands to secrete large amounts of mucus which obstruct lungs. The bacteria that gets trapped within the lungs leads to repeated infections and blockages, and it causes irreversible lung damage. Lung transplants are a treatment measure, but they are not the cure. Cystic fibrosis exists in communities across Australia, and I want to share with you the story of a 9-year-old girl living in my electorate. Her name is Ellis. This week she has been in hospital and being treated with cystic fibrosis and related respiratory infections. Earlier this year I was contacted by Ellis's grandfather pleading for help for his granddaughter. Ellis has to undertake an hour and a half of physiotherapy every day, and she must take enzyme capsules with everything she eats. She takes antibiotics every day and spends around 4 weeks per year in the Adelaide Women's and Children's Hospital. The drug known as Orkambi is a relatively new treatment that is proven to improve lung function. Clinical trials have shown a reduction in lung damage by at least 40% than normal sufferers of cystic fibrosis. It reduces incidences of chest infection, hospital stays. It does this treatment symptoms for the disease, and it tackles the disease itself. For sufferers of cystic fibrosis, this drug can literally change their life. When I initially lodged this motion, the application to have Orkambi listed on the pharmaceutical benefits scheme was still being assessed. On Friday the 18th of August, the PBS Advisory Committee handed down its recommendation that this treatment not be added to the PBS. I'm not here today to necessarily criticise the PBS Advisory Committee. I believe that the correct and proper oversight for which medicines are subsidised by the Commonwealth Government is fundamental to our country's health system. However, it is my understanding that the efficacy and safety of Orkambi have long been established, and that the primary reason for the rejection of the latest application was due to the cost of the drug being too high. Now, I have read various media reports that place the blame at the foot of the manufacturer and others that place the blame at government. We should not be playing the blame game with children across the country while they continue to battle this terrible disease, and we can do something meaningful to assist that suffering, and we can do it quite quickly. Orkambi has recently been approved in Canada for children aged between 6 and 11 years. It has also been approved in the United States for children aged 12 and over. Patients in Ireland, France, Germany, Greece and Italy all have access to the drug. I'm hopeful that Australia will eventually join these countries in allowing patients affordable access to the drug, but I'm frustrated that it is taking so long. I would like to acknowledge the work of the Federal Minister for Health in supporting the process that saw the drug known as Kalydeco being included on the PBS earlier this year. Like Orkambi, Kalydeco is a life-saving drug for young children suffering from cystic fibrosis. At that time, Minister Hunt was quoted as saying, "We have been able to deliver the right outcome with Kalydeco, and given time we can make real progress with Orkambi." And so I would encourage the Minister to reflect on these words and on the lives of children like Ellis. Cystic fibrosis sufferers in Australia are calling for the Minister to intervene and begin negotiations with the pharmaceutical manufacturer, and today I lend my support to that call. I will continue to advocate on behalf of families across my electorate and across the country who live with this disease, and I urge our federal government to keep these children and young people at the forefront of their thoughts when making decisions, so that 1,000 Australians can have affordable access to this life-saving medication. Thank you.